Good morning and welcome here today to a little tour of the Good Food Network for the month of June 2024. Hi, I'm Luca. I'm your holistic nutrition practitioner. And the goal with today's session, this is the orientation session for those who join the Good Food Network. So it serves two purposes. The first part of the video is a little bit of a rundown of who's going to benefit from being in the Good Food Network for this month. The second part of this is to give a tour of the place for those who are going to join us. So it's usually about 10 to 15 minutes to go through who's going to be a good fit for the Good Food Network. For those who are watching the replay and only want the orientation part, you want to skip ahead about 10, 12 minutes or so and then watch from there. We'll give you a lowdown on how to find everything around the network. I'll tell you a little hint. I'll be sharing my screen at that point and you'll be able to have a visual of what it looks like so you can find all of the moving parts. So hello, my name is Luca. I've been running this Good Food Network since the fall of 2022. So it'll be 2 years this September. And it's a network, right? And what is a network? It's a community, it's a subscription service, it's a membership service. It's kind of all of these things. There is the capacity for a little bit more entre gens or the chat back and forth, but people don't seem to use it very much. So maybe it's more a subscription service. What is a subscription service? Well, it's really just there's a bunch of stuff at the ready on a buffet table waiting for you to come and fill your plate. That's it. Everybody's plate is going to look different, and everybody will have a different composition on their plate. I usually say, if you're not sure if the network is for you, first of all, stick around. Second of all, if you want to dedicate 1 hour a week to understanding how food can be of service when it comes to whatever the main topic of the month is, then you will get good benefits from joining the Good Food Network. Will you get through it all? Probably not. Could you? You sure can. If you wanted to dedicate an hour and a half to 2 hours a week, you could get through all of the content very easily. But if you're intending to put into play 1 hour a week, you're going to get loads of good information. And it's all information I share with my one-on-one clients. So the perfect person who'd be taking this are one of two people, former clients, where we've done a run through a lot of one-on-ones, recommendations, ideas, things we've talked about putting in place and understanding what's going on behind your symptoms. And this network serves as one of those reminders to help you focus in on something. And every 2 months, we have a new topic. And the month of June is going to be the second part of blood sugar balancing. Every single client I work with gets most of the things we're talking about this month. This is the foundation and what we really cover in those first 6 visits in that initial package, if you will. So that's the first person. The second person that could benefit from this is somebody who's wanting to understand a deeper interconnection between different things that are showing up in the body and how food could be of service for that. And somebody who's motivated enough to actually sit down for once a week for an hour to jot down and make some notes and get some content and then go ahead and implement it into your day-to-day life. We've got lots we're going to cover this month. Now, the topic we are covering is called blood sugar balancing. And my whole goal of this is to build that foundation. To me, blood sugar balancing is one of the metabolic foundations that we really need to put in place in order to support a body functioning well. What is metabolism? Metabolism is really the process of food coming in as energy and other things coming in as energy, the body absorbing, morphing it into whatever it needs it to be, sending it to the cells and the organs where it needs to be, and those cells and organs using it to do the thing they were meant to do. That whole process is metabolism, and blood sugar balancing is an absolute key piece. I was talking about it yet again yesterday in the scenario of specific symptoms. So migraines in this case. So it's all so interesting to me how blood sugar balancing is such a crucial piece of the picture in order to make a body function well. And when a body is struggling, blood sugar balancing is sometimes one of the first things that has a hard time. And the body works really hard at balancing. You will always be aiming back for center, but the body goes off kilter. Your body will keep doing what it can to bring you back to center. And or maybe this is a better illustration, right? If this is center and as blood sugar balancing goes off, things go off the rails and you're over there. The goal with the Good Food Network is to help you put things in place so you can slowly, with consistency over time, come back to center and land when you get there. It's not to put in 8 things and have you go, whoa, oh crap. No, no, no. It's a slow, methodical, sloth-like pace that sees you putting things in place on a consistent basis. And then that helps bring you back to center. Cost is $35 a month. You get to stay in as long as you want. You cancel whenever you want. And that's it. So let's get into what are the top 10 things. So I see a lot of clients where blood sugar balancing is a really major part. And I'll tell you, in my notes, I usually put BSB, blood sugar balancing. And my questionnaire, when I take my clients through it, is really to clearly indicate, do you have blood sugar balancing issues? And do you have hormonal imbalances? Do you have inflammation? Do you have chronic stuff going on in the body? Do you have stress? All of those questions become clear at the end of our 90-minute to 2-hour session. And 95% of my clients have BSB written all over their intake form, because that's my short form for, okay, we're going to do blood sugar stuff. We're going to do blood sugar stuff. So the top 10 ways that I see my clients struggling with blood sugars. These are the top 10 ways, like the most common ones that I see. And when clients say this, based on a question I ask, I go, oh, yeah, BSB. Are you ready? How many of these do you have? I want you to put it on a piece of paper. Keep track of your check marks. Number 1. This was me to a T. Do you get hangry? Conversely, do you get the shakes at a certain time of day, like mid-afternoon, the witching hour, if you will, 11 a.m. where don't talk to me unless I go and get a hamburger. Like I can't even. Do you say I can't even many times a day? Yeah. I used to, by 2:30 in the afternoon, I would be so shaking when I was in my 20s working in downtown Toronto that I was a mess. My pregnant pal, Naomi, who was on the same floor as me, we would go downstairs at 2:30 and without fail buy a burger every day because it was the only thing that would stop it. Well, we were onto something there. Number 2, do you get all of the cravings? Or conversely, are you the person who, shoot, why do we have a new package of, I don't know, Chips Ahoy cookies in the pantry, and why did I just eat 5 sleeves of them and I didn't even notice? No, you do not have a lack of willpower, friend. You, in that moment, decided to survive the moment when you were crashing on your roller coaster at the bottom of the roller coaster. And the cookies ensured you didn't die. Well done. You do not have a lack of willpower. You have a survival mechanism that kicked in and kept you alive. Way to go, you. I don't want you to have to turn it on, though. Maybe that's a better way to look at it. Number 3, do you have energy crashes over the course of the day? Is it consistent? Like a lot of my clients will have it either soon after lunch. That is a surefire blood sugar balancing one, or you need a nap, especially after lunches, especially with lunches where you've had a lot of carbs, or around the dinner hour, like 5 o'clock. Are you like, oh my God, I can't stay awake to drive home from work. I wish I had toothpicks that would just prop my eyeballs open. Number 4, do you get wired and tired after supper? This was also me. Do you get, I used to, I remember dinner's done, dishes are done, lunches for tomorrow are done, kiddos in bed, and my honey goes to bed early because he's a teacher. I'd be like, oh my God, I have to myself finally. Me scroll on Facebook all night long till 1 o'clock in the morning because I had all the energy, or I would take up and I would think this is the perfect time. 11 is the perfect time to take up quilting. Yeah. And then I would stay up till all hours and be so excited by it and be super jazzed and energized. And it felt that's your 7th. I'm just a an owl. No, you have a dysregulation of something going on and it's contributing to your blood sugar issues. Number 5, this is a big one. Do you have any of these diagnoses? I don't have the others. That's so interesting. Okay. Do you have these diagnoses? PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, or type 2 diabetes, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, or metabolic syndrome. Or somebody is watching your A1C numbers and they're like, you're climbing up and I don't like it. Your numbers are climbing up. Do you have any of these diagnoses? At the root of what is driving that are blood sugar imbalances. We got to figure out, why do you have blood sugar imbalances? What is going on? Your metabolic health is off kilter. We got to build those solid foundations. Number 6, do you have candida? That's a hallmark indication that first and foremost, before we do anything else, we're going to really need to address blood sugar balancing. Number 7, do you have cholesterol numbers rising? Do you have high blood pressure? I'll put that in the same category. Both are indicators that you're on a roller coaster of blood sugar stuff all day long. Let's get you off it. Number 8, my least favorite one, and the one that is most like a snowball that goes down the side of a mountain and gets bigger the longer it's on that side of the mountain. Number 8, insomnia. Do you struggle with sleep? Do you have a hard time falling asleep? More so, blood sugar balance is more like, are you waking up in the middle of the night? Are you waking up to pee a lot? Are you waking up to make all of the grocery lists for the week? Are you waking up remembering that you have all that dry cleaning you forgot to pick up? Or, what's that joke with the memory foam on the bed? Are you waking up and your memory foam is reminding you of all those terrible memories where you put your foot in your mouth? Right? Like bringing up terrible memories. Yeah. Insomnia. Number 9, are your adrenals tuckered out? Did somebody say you have adrenal fatigue? Your adrenals are underperforming, or like it's so hard to get out of bed in the morning. It's really hard to get to work. There is deep set fatigue going on. Honey, sugars. Yeah. Going low carb is not going to help you, PS. Not in that situation. It's actually going to make things worse. Sorry. Number 10. Oh, yeah. I love the notes I make for myself. Do you rely on coffee all day long to get you through? Do you have the coffee maker close to your desk at work because you're the one that makes the pots because you go through them the most? Do you need all of those coffees at work? Or conversely, do you wish you could have toothpicks to prop open your eyes at work? Yeah. Are you the person who falls asleep on the drive into work? And so you have your coffee at your side, hoping it'll keep you awake. And then you make it to work and it's okay. All of these are the top 10 ways that I see people who have blood sugar balancing issues. And if you said yes to even one of these, you would gain great benefit from joining the Good Food Network this month. I'm going to go through some more though. Yeah. Okay. What are we going to say here? What have I talked about? Other ways to know. Do you need a nap mid-afternoon? Are you intimately acquainted with the term witching hour? That 4 to 5 p.m. wildness that comes like clockwork every afternoon. Do you struggle with brain fog? Do you have memory issues, cognitive stuff? Do you actually have a family history of Alzheimer's, dementia, strokes, heart disease? Those 4, maybe I should do this instead. Those 4, Alzheimer's, dementia, strokes, and heart attacks. Those 4 at the root of them all is a metabolic issue that's not working well, that has you on a roller coaster of blood sugar stuff all day long. And when you work at getting off the roller coaster, you're building a solid foundation to now reduce what's driving the deposits of things that make the strokes and the heart attacks and the dementia and the Alzheimer's show up. I know. We have family issues of both sides. Great. Okay, what else do we have here? Do you feel stress keenly? Do you jump and scare easily? Someone's behind you. Oh God, even just doing that sets off my stress response. Yeah. Are you like feeling like you walk around on tender hooks? Is that the expression? That's tied to your adrenals. Do people feel like they have to walk on eggshells around you? Yeah. Do you wake up in the middle of the night? We said that already. Do you wake up more tired than you were when you went to bed? Blood sugar stuff. Are you a worrier? Do you worry a lot? Do you have thyroid troubles? One of the biggest drivers of thyroid issues is blood sugar imbalances. And when you resolve the blood sugar issues and we get you off the roller coaster, we get you onto carousel more, like now you start to reduce what's actually impacting the thyroid. And slowly over time, you'll start to see some benefits there. Does your metabolism seem off? Are you having a hard time through perimenopause? Yeah, blood sugar issues. Do you get hot flashes? Blood sugar issues are a massive driver of that. Yeah, like 80% of the time that I see in my clients. The other 20%, then it's a microbiome issue, which also then further drives blood sugar things. Anyway, okay, so this was me, and I don't know if this would resonate with anybody, but the only thing that brings you back to earth is red meat. So I discovered this very accidentally in my 20s when I was super hypoglycemic, like went to the doctor to get it checked out. They're like, yeah, your blood sugars are really low. But I was eating lots of carbohydrates at the time because that was a time where you ate a lot of, like, it was a super pro carb time and a very low fat time and not much protein because that's what was expensive at the grocery store. And I was in my 20s and I was cheap. And I thought being vegetarian was awesome, but I didn't realize that you also need to really work at that protein piece. So it was a super carb forward diet, but my blood sugars were really low, which is hilarious. Like, that doesn't make that much sense. Well, it does when you understand metabolism and when you understand what is not necessarily working properly. There's a lot of different issues going on when you cannot tolerate carbohydrates very well, or you tend to go up and down and up and down and up and down. Your blood sugars are high, and then they're really low, and then they're really high, and then they're really low. And you're like this, and it's an extreme roller coaster all day. So what would help bring me back to earth was that hamburger mid-afternoon. For months before I figured out the hamburger thing, I was trying fish, I was trying chicken, I had a lot of tuna in my lunch, and skinless, boneless chicken, because God forbid I get fat. I was so little then. I don't know what I was worried about. But anyway, the only thing that brought me back to earth was red meat. That is clearly a pancreas issue. And that is a hallmark sign of blood sugar imbalances. So if you're the person where you need to bring in red meat, because that's the only way you feel grounded, 2 feet on the ground, it's what helps you stay tethered to this earth. Honey, you have blood sugar balancing issues. And in fact, there's pancreas stuff going on for you, which I can help with. And we talk about this month. What else? Do you get headaches? Do you have histamine issues? Histamine, what drives histamine in some bodies is metabolic issues, and blood sugar balancing is one of those. Yep. Do you skip breakfast or do you rely on coffee, even like the bulletproof coffees first thing in the morning? Thank you, Dave Asprey. You just messed up a whole bunch of people's metabolism by telling them to skip breakfast all the time for days and months and years at a time, and then bring in that bulletproof coffee. Well, we just made you get on the tallest roller coaster. And here's the secret. When you're on the roller coaster at the start of everything, it feels amazing. Like, do you remember when you were 18 and you loved roller coasters and now you're in your 50s and you hate them and they're terrifying to you? Yeah. Okay, is that just me? Like, roller coasters feel amazing when you first start out and you've got the mechanisms to help you handle it. But when you've been on that roller coaster a long time and it's been decades, at a certain point, it starts to feel nauseating and it's not working. It never worked. Well, no, it did work at the outset, but it's not sustainable. Do you rely on coffee, green tea, or cola to get you through the day? Do you crave carbs all day long? I'll do the other side of this. Do you crave salty things and crunchy things? That can also be a blood sugar balance issue. A little bit of a different entryway, but adrenals. What else? Do you sport the best muffin top in town? I sure do. I'll work the blood sugar thing until I'm dead. Do you have atherosclerosis, plaque buildup in your arteries? At the root of that is blood sugar balancing issues because sugars can't get into your cells, and it's an insulin resistance issue. Do you have gout? Gout, in a large portion, is due to blood sugar management issues and actually insulin troubles and leptin that's off. There's a few other things at play. Metabolic health is off. Do your skin wounds heal slowly? That's another indicator. Does your immune system struggle and do you get hit with all of the things? That's a lot of things. Yeah. Okay. So if you said yes to any of these, just to give you an inkling of like how much metabolic stuff you've got on the go, blood sugar balancing is done 24 hours a day, and you have different mechanisms in the body that work over the course of that 24-hour clock. And there's different mechanisms at different times of the day. One of the biggest contributors to metabolic troubles is that 24-hour internal clock is off. And when it's off, then the body has a really hard time balancing your blood sugars. So at the end of the day, this is my thesis, blood sugar balancing issues happens in bodies that are separated from nature. Luca. Yeah? Yeah. And to know what I mean, you'd have to come and join us in the network because I go on about the circadian rhythm all the time. It's remarkable how much our circadian rhythm works well when we are in tandem with the natural cycles of the natural world. Things that throw off our natural cycles are the fact that we're not outside as much anymore. We are also in front of screens that mimic a certain type of light during the day. We have a lot of things that block the light on our glasses, on our screens, yet our skin still picks up. We think it's just through the eye, but it's the eyes and the skin. Anyway, there's so many different pieces at play, and that's a session that maybe I need to do, resetting your circadian rhythm. I've done a few classes on that. Anyway, okay. That is how you know you could join us in the Good Food Network. What happens as soon as you join? Well, you join. As you sign up, you pay your first month subscription service fee, $35 plus tax, which is $36.75 because GST. And then as soon as you register, you get a couple of emails that come in. You got to follow each and every email. There's a task to do in each of the emails. Click through. There's instructions on what to do and how to access things. And save this video because this is going to give you a tour of the network. You get instant access as soon as you register. So if you're watching this on the morning of June 3rd, lucky you, you're going to have the whole month to access everything I'm going to show you. If you're watching this video on the morning of June 17th, 2024, and you're like, I want to have access to this, go for it. You're going to have access to everything I'm going to show you in a hot second until the end of June. And you get access to it the second you register. So let's take you through for a tour of what that looks like. Gonna share my screen. Oh, yes, that's what I want. We'll maximize the screen because it helps. Now, once you register to be in the Good Food Network, if you've worked with me before or taken any classes with me, you'll need to log in to practice better. And I've got a link to that on every page of my website. My website is lucasimmons.com. So you can find the login for that anywhere on my website at the bottom of every single page. Once you're logged in, if you've joined before, you'll log in. If you haven't, you'll be asked to start a password. Once you build that password, now you'll have access. You just have to build a password. It's just because it's HIPAA compliant. We're complying with the privacy laws of Canada. So I got your back. When you first log in, this is your home screen. One tip I want to show you, this image top left always takes you to your home page. So it always fills it in. These little boxes are called widgets, and each widget does something different. Upcoming sessions refers to our live Zoom sessions. So you see this little camera icon. We're doing this orientation call right now. You would click on this little camera icon if you want to join us. This Thursday, we'll have a session called Food as Medicine. When you're ready to join, this will be the top one at the top here. The time listed here will be set to your time zone where you are. That's automatic. So you don't have to calculate. You don't have to figure it out. We've got a live class next Wednesday, June 12th. So yeah, not this week, but next week. Got to put that together. And then some more sessions there. You got some forms, some times to fill out. You shouldn't if you're in the network. This is for another program that I was training, using this platform to train on. And then you've got this widget here that says My Programs. You've also got two things up here top right. I'll take you through that towards the end. So GF Network is the name of the network. You can click on it from here, or you can go through Programs. It's entirely up to you. I always like to go through programs up top left because that is consistently up top left. It's easy. Yeah. Click on the network itself, and there you are in the network. It's easy to see. You can access everything immediately. In order to go through what all the modules are, you need to move your cursor to be above where these modules are listed. If I have my cursor up here, it's not going to actually scroll through the modules. It's a bit of a snafu with the design of it, but I'm not the designer, so I'm sorry. I don't have anything I can do about that. Now here on the left, you've got a menu. So the overview of what the network is, the modules themselves. There is a chat, a group chat for the network. These are the Zoom links for the sessions as well. I don't know why they've stopped at January. It's funny. Anyway, go back to modules. That's where you're going to see the bulk of it. So always click on modules here. There's 12 modules for the whole month. I've broken it down into 4 sections. So the first section is start here. You can think of that as the administrative, anything to do with your membership or anything to do with the details of the network for that month. The actual content is broken into 3 sections. We have the live sessions, which are exactly what they sound like, live. You can join us live in the moment that I'm talking. This is one of them. You got the pre-recorded content, which is like streaming service. You can go and watch whatever you want. You've only got 3 choices because we'll keep it simple. And then there's written content at the bottom. And that's it. So do you want to look at live sessions? Do you want to sit down and watch the pre-recorded stuff that is streaming available? Or do you want to watch the written content so that you can print it up? That's where you'll need to decide once you settle into the network. The best spot to start is start here. I try to make it really obvious. When you click on this module, if you just click on the title of it, it will get you into the module itself. So there's a video here that gives you an even in more depth tour of the network. So you can watch that under start here. The replay is here. So for those who are watching the replay, this is where you would have clicked to access the recording you're watching right now. And then this has a rundown of what the 3 types of sessions are: the recorded, the live sessions, and then that written content. Once you're done, do you see how up top here? Oh, it doesn't. I've already marked it completed. Okay. If you hadn't yet, there is mark complete up here, and you could click on that and it would allow you to mark it completed so that when you go back to your modules, it says completed. And that's really just for yourself, so that next time you log in, you could say, oh, I've already done this one. I don't need to go back in and look at it. You can. It doesn't prevent you from going back in to look at stuff. It just marks it completed so that you know, oh, I've already done these modules. Now, this is your next module. I put them in order that I think will make sense to go through. This is your schedule for June of 2024 of the live stuff. So we're doing blood sugar regulation. We've got today's orientation call. We've got a Thursday morning session at 7 a.m. And we've got one Wednesday morning session as well. So you can print it up here if you wish. You download to your computer and print from there. We also have a checklist. So this is what it looks like when you download it and print it up. So you've got the month up top, so you know which month it is. These are all the different things you can do in the network. This is where it feels, oh God, that's a lot. Okay. So I'm going to tell you how to use this checklist. Once you've got it printed up, I want you to use this space in the column to the left of the box as the place of where you're going to put your number of importance. What's the first thing you want to do? Well, I want to check out the schedule and worksheet and print as my first thing, because as soon as it's printed, I put a check mark and I feel like I've done something already. Yes. Make yourself feel good. Be on team you. And then go through and decide which of these will you want to do. You'll know a little bit better after we wrap up today's orientation session, which of these you will want to watch and which you will set aside. Some folks really want to get into that salads class, and others are like, I don't want a cooking class. I really actually just want the blood sugar balancing stuff. So if there's a class on here after you watch the orientation that you don't want to partake in, scratch it off. Scratch it off so that you know you're not even going to look at it. Like, simplify your list. And the way that this is broken down, so this is the main info. Then we get into the pre-recorded stuff. So there's the Real Food Reset video. This is a program I ran back in 2019, I think. So stocking your fridge and freezer, it's a half-hour video. There's recipes in there and handouts. There is a 3-hour vitality blood sugar balancing class, which is the golden gem of this whole thing. This class by itself for lifetime access is $60. Get in the network, you get it for $35 and you get everything else. It just disappears at the end of the month. So I light a fire under your butt, so you have to watch it. Yes. So if nothing else, if this is the only thing you get when you join the network, well, you're ahead of the game, aren't you? Like, that's the goal of this. It's to put a timeline so that you, like, I'm helping you. I like setting those boundaries to make it clear that you have a month to watch this. Sit down and get to work. I need that help sometimes. Yeah. If you don't want to watch it though, scratch it out. There is that scratch cooking class of salads that's super fun. My daughter and I did at the top of the lockdown sessions. And so we were doing a junior high cooking class, and it has now been pieced out in 10 pieces, and I slip a piece into the network. Every month we have a new cooking class. So it's a fun thing to do with the junior high kid in your life. If you have a young teen or mid-teen in your life, set aside an hour and a half on a weekend and get into the class and really have fun with us. Eliza, my daughter, does such a great job of explaining different things, and you get some really neat skills on how to measure oil, on how to measure water, on how to mix things, and how to pre-prep your pan before you're going to cook anything in it. Like these beginner tips that are so important, interspersed with a bunch of other things that, of course, I share. Yeah. So we've got our Thursday morning sessions. They're called Food is Medicine. They're on at 7 a.m. every Thursday morning. There is a replay for each of our live sessions. So if you can't join us live, you can watch the replay. These are half-hour long. I make sure your cameras and your microphones are off. So if you're preparing breakfast in the kitchen, you can totally join me. You don't have to stick around afterwards either if you don't want to. You can if you have questions. That's the joy of it. We have a live class every month that is 90 minutes long to 2 hours, and it is always on a Wednesday. It starts at 9 a.m., and we're doing blood sugar balancing level 400. So this is where we're bringing in, when you've done all of the foundational pieces, but now you're ready to take it to the next level. This is like the master's level. We're going to talk about some food grade supplements and a lot of other pieces that are going to make a really big difference to help you really balance those blood sugars. And then we've got recipes every month. There's 5 of them. My phone is ringing, pardon me. There's 5 of them here that you can do, that you can print up and add to your binder of recipes in the kitchen if you wish. Every month we've got 5 more. They're always based on what the theme is, and they're also seasonal recipes. So here for the month of June, they are 5 recipes that are focusing on blood sugar balancing. They're also really great starter summer recipes. So we'll go through what those look like in a second. We've also got a module on how to eat with the seasons, because I often talk about how eating with the seasons is another way to insert ourselves into the natural world. It's another way to reset your circadian rhythms, actually, is to eat in season. So that's a handout there that you can access. And then there's a weekly food challenge. So we throw something out every week. Last week, I think it was eggs. So then I give way more information in the network with ideas on how to maybe have eggs so that a lot of it is done for you. So if this is something you want to do, print this up, organize which order you want to do them in, and when they're done, check mark and leave that next to where your computer is. So you can come back to it time and again. At the bottom, we also have a worksheet. So this was new in the fall, and I think it's been doing quite well. You can print this up. This is what it looks like. There's 3 sections on here. So what are your main goals? What do you want to address or work at this month, and how it shows up in your body? And you'll get some of these answers as you watch the content in the network. Each class is designed to give you some action items to do work, and you can break it down into one of 2 ways: food stuff or lifestyle and more. So here, for example, last week, the food of the week was eggs. So I would write down here, eggs. I want to eat them often for the choline, for the selenium, for the whatever that you found in the videos that you were watching. And then that will help you remember this stuff. There's something about taking a concept from your brain that you've interpreted from what you've watched and putting it in writing on a piece of paper. That really, really helps to make it yours. Like there's a method to the madness. So this sheet now gets to live on the back of a cupboard door in your kitchen. And when you have that living in your kitchen, you open the door to pull out your olive oil for your salad dressing. And there it lives. Oh, right. I remind myself I need to eat eggs on a regular basis. So this is the place where you slot in what's the to-do work so that you have one repository for each of the different classes that you'll be watching in the Good Food Network. So it's your one-page cheat sheet of your to-do work, if you will, your worksheet. So you print this guy up, you download to your computer, and you print from your downloads folder. So there you go. And when you're done printing these up, you click on Mark Completed up top right, and you confirm that it's done. And there you are. So you've done a few different modules here. I'm going to go back to my program. Now we've got a whole topic on blood sugar balancing. It's a written content that talks about what it is we're doing in the network. You can certainly check that out. If you have any questions about your network subscription, everything is written in there, so you can check that if you need any answers. Now let's go through the 3 sections. Again, I'm going to take you through, there's the live sessions. These start with a live that you are able to join. And once the live has happened, the replay is also put into the same module. So food is medicine. These are the Thursday morning sessions. So they're always at 7 a.m. If you can't join us live, you can watch the replay via the links below. These are our topics this month. So this Thursday, we're doing how to coffee for blood sugars, protein's role in blood sugars, carbs and blood sugar balancing. That one is going to be a long one because I think most people say, I have blood sugar issues, I'll take carbs right out. And then their blood sugar issues get worse. Or they feel great initially, and then they feel worse. Yeah, there's a dance to achieve there. And then the last Thursday of the month, we'll be talking about magnesium and why it's so important to ensure that you're getting enough magnesium and where to find it. So the 25 to 30 minutes, they're every Thursday morning. And then here we've got the 4 topics again, but the replays will be under here once they've happened. So the most recent one is going to be at the top. So change that up a little bit this month, so it's more like the other modules. So you will have the most recent one up top. Let's go back to our modules. Now we were in our live sessions. That's the Thursday morning sessions, the food as medicine. There's one live class every month, 90 minutes to 2 hours. And this is a live webinar, if you will, and it's called Blood Sugar Balancing Level 400. This tells you a little bit. Our goals are going to be identifying some of those symptoms, bring in those level 400 helpers, bring in food grade supplements and simple strategies, stuff you may not have thought of. So this is for you if you are ready for holistic solutions, want to address those symptoms and reduce the impact of those long-term effects, and then getting to that level 400. So how to join? Oh, there's a Zoom link in your upcoming sessions widget on your homepage. You don't need to pre-register, you just have to show up. Once we do the class, the replay is here. So you'll need a passcode when you access that. It's there, follow that. And we'll have handouts and recipes here and more details to complete that class once I've actually built it. That's my work today. So that is those are the 2 portions of the live sessions. Next, we have our pre-recorded content. Pre-recorded content is stuff that I did a long time ago that I'm just making available as a bonus piece in the network. So they're a way to go through the huge amount of classes that I have in my repository. I have like 95 classes, and I can't keep talking about them because, you know, enough's enough. So I just I put them through in this network, and you get one a month. So one of them is stocking your fridge and freezer. It's a half-hour module on how to stock your fridge and how to stock your freezer. You get a fridge and freezer list, what to buy at the grocery store, what type of olive oil to buy, what type of beans to buy, what type of products to have in the freezer, what type of canned goods to get. No, that was in the pantry one. Pantry was last month. Anyway, fridge and freezer, what kind of meats to buy, good, better, best scenarios, those kinds of things. So a really great in-depth dive. That's a really great introduction to the concept of real food. There's a 3-hour class on blood sugar balancing. This one's a doozer. It is the crown gem of the Good Food Network. So you have your handout here, you will download. And then you've got, I think it's 13 videos, 11 or 13. They are all in succession here. So the goal is you watch them one at a time, and your sheet helps you keep track of where you're at in your videos. So let me show you this in just a second. So on your homepage of that handout, you've got the list of 11 here. So you've got 11 videos in this class. When you've watched it, you circle so that you can leave, come back and say, oh, I've watched the first video. I need to start at video 2. And that will make it very clear. There's video 1. There's video 2. It's really easy. It's overwhelming because there's a lot, but there's a really easy system. Okay. Once you've watched this class, you can go ahead and click on Mark Completed. And that will let you know the next time you check into your program, when you get down here, where's that vitality class? Oh, I've already watched this one. I don't need to go back in. You can. You just click on it and it will give you access again. But that's a good way to help keep on top of what it is that you've accomplished and what you've moved through. It doesn't matter to me. You use it if you want to. You don't have to if you don't want to. There is also a 90-minute cooking class on how to build salads. This is a really great summer start, a kind of recipe. And Eliza is a cutie patootie in grade 9 at this point. She's on her way to university in the fall. So, it's a snapshot in time. It's a lovely class. So we talk about how to build your own salad dressing. We have low histamine options. There's a vegan option. There's a paleo option. There are grain-free, gluten-free. Everything is gluten-free. What else do we have? Oh, dairy-free options for those who want to join us, who aren't currently tolerating dairy. We also have egg-free. Like you can mix and match and make it work for whatever your food approach is. So this is a really great class. It's 1 of 10. But I only do 1 a month, so don't worry, you won't get overwhelmed. Last section, we've got written content. This is my favorite because you can knock these out really quickly when you come in. We've got recipes, we've got a weekly good food challenge, and we've got a module on eating with the summer season. Let's start with the recipes. So the recipes of the month for June, this is what you're getting. Pea shoot pesto, tuna salad for 4, green Thai curry, mayonnaise homemade. Yes, mayonnaise homemade is a health food. And rhubarb fool, which is an old British thing. So great. We've got low histamine options. There's only one that is not low histamine this month. So if you're in the network and you need low histamine, you can choose the LH one. That will give you your low histamine version. So all of your recipes are here. You download to your downloads folder and you print from there. Or you save them to your tablet because that's what you use in the kitchen, whatever your preference is. So these are the recipes. And once you've knocked them out and you've printed them up, you click on Mark Completed. And then you're done already. If you spend the first 20 minutes you're in the network just printing things up, you knock like 3 things off of your to-do list. It's really quite satisfying. And then next, you've got this weekly good food challenge and the Eating with the Seasons summer version. Let's start with a good food challenge. So here, the challenge this week is to feature eggs. So that started last Monday. We're going to start a new one this afternoon. I can't remember what it is. It doesn't matter because I haven't done it yet. But this helps with blood sugar balancing. So those joining us today will have a little piece of May in here. So we've got ideas on how to work this into recipes. And then earlier challenges will get bumped down here. And the newest one will be at the top. And each week, this gets updated on Monday afternoons. So make sure you check in with this guy because it gives you good ideas on what to make and how to maybe prepare eggs, for example, or liver or onions or whatever food it is that's featured that week. I have one last module to look at, and this is the one that gets you eating along with the seasons. Why is this important? Well, this video will explain it all. 13 minutes long. It's the same video that I started when I first kicked off the network back in 2022. The importance of eating with the seasons. When you eat with the seasons, you are reinserting yourself into the natural rhythms of the world. Do you know that eating what is in season in the area you are geographically located helps your body get resynced with the circadian rhythms of that area? Eating local foods is a part of resetting safety in the body and reinserting yourself into the natural world. The more you can reinsert yourself into the natural world, the more we're going to reduce your symptoms. A body that has symptoms is a body that doesn't feel safe. If your body knows where you are in time and what season it is and where you are, and you eat the foods from that area, it's another way to let your body know where you are in time and place. When you do that work, you reduce what's driving symptoms. So we have a handout and a series of recipes, a bundle for each season. And this season, we start a new one for the next 3 months. We started summer a little bit earlier. But your handout looks like this. You've got a list of foods to reach for in the summer. These are the top best foods for summer. We've got a list of superb foods, teas, shoots, and roots, herbs and spices you want to focus on. Ideas on how to move through the season. This is the season of the heart is your main organ, and the small intestine is the corresponding organ. And those are from the lens of traditional Chinese medicine. And so it's a really great time to keep healthy with your heart and to focus on the small intestine as well. So that makes its way into a lot of the food recommendations as well. We talk about the main energy for the season and how you could maybe carry that into your day-to-day life. This is, I think, probably my favorite part of the network and the most under celebrated part of the network. Like, I think that vitality class is amazing, but it's a really big bang for your buck. This is like an understated, transformative component of the Good Food Network. It's like the secret sauce. Yeah, it's the secret sauce. That's what it is. Yeah. Think of this module as the secret sauce. So prioritize this module this month or July if you're going to stick around, because it'll still be there in July. So this gives you ideas on how to move through the season. This is beyond the food pieces. This is how to be a human. Yeah. With some hints and ideas on how to support the energetics and how to reinsert yourself into those natural rhythms. So if this is something that you would like to access, make your way on into the network and find it here at the end of those written modules. There's a video, but it's really about the written thing and going and taking that information and implementing it into your days. So it's this last one at the bottom, the very, very bottom. So that's everything that you get access to in the network. You get like a really good price, but the goal is it all disappears by the end of the month and you better get to work. That's what I have to say on that. Now, there's two things I want to show you still. Up top right, you've got these little buttons here. So this bell tells you there's a notification. If you click on that, it will tell you some of those notices. So you get a reminder 2 days before of any live session that's happening in the Good Food Network. They'll be up here. So June 3rd was here. If I were to click on this, I could click on join session and it would let me join the orientation call that's happening right now, but I'm already in it. That's correct. Then there's all of these. So you can use this notification tab if you wish. You can also use this chat tab if you want. I'm going to show you, no, maybe I will show you this. Okay, here's your chat tab. And you'll have two things here on the left. You'll have the GF network, which is the Good Food Network, and you have me, because I'm your practitioner. So the Good Food Network, every time I drop something new in the network, I put a notice in the chat. This is also where you can ask questions. Every Friday I drop information about like something to read for the weekend. So last week I talked about cholesterol, medications, and heart disease. There's a blood sugar regulation connection there. If you wanted to read more, there's a link in the comments. Last week we talked about cholesterol and that blood sugar connection in our Food is Medicine on Thursday morning. Once it was ready, then I dropped a word here saying, okay, the replay is available. So I try to keep the comments to the post so you can get to know what the posts look like. New content was coming up. And the foods and another article and those foods. So you'll start to see a pattern in here. Every now and then I drop a hot tip and I pin it at the top so that you can see how best to use the network. And this is just to help you get the most use out of the network. So this is also where you can post a question if you wanted to. So if you have a question like, I just watched the Vitality blood sugar balancing class and I have a question about when you talk about meat stock, does bone broth count? So then I would answer there. If it's a question you think everybody would benefit who's in the network, and there's 14 of us, then you can share it there. If you're more shy and prefer to keep it private, then what you'll want to do is you'll click on Luca. You can see I do this every month. Luca, I have a question on meat stock and bone broth. And then you type your question. Type question. And then you hit send on the little paper airplane. I'll get a notice of it and I won't correct my grammar mistakes. And then you will get my answer here. And that way we can chat back and forth if you have any questions as you make your way through the network. Now, if you're like, oh, I'm in the chat. How did I get here? I'm lost. How do I go back? I'm going to give you one last pointer. Top left, this image, my logo, if you click on that, it takes you back to your home page. And again, on your home page, you've got the program here, program access through here if you wish. You can do it through the widget here, or you've also got your upcoming sessions, those Zoom live calls. You will click on the camera icon so that you can join live. So that Thursday morning, that's where you'll click. If you want to go back to your program, click on GoodFood Network. You've got it in here. That chat is also available here. Find which way works for you, and you can put it in there. Everything to do with the network here will be tied to this. But modules is where the bulk of your work is going to be. And back to the home page. And that is the tour of the Good Food Network for the month of June. If you have any questions, I'm going to drop a few links below. The first link will be, I better write this down. Okay, so the first link is going to be to book in for a free 15-minute chat. And that's to see if the Good Food Network is good for you. If you need somebody to talk to first. Number two, I'm going to put a link to the info about is the network good for me or not? And you can read through that yourself. I think you'll get more answers that way as opposed to chatting with me. But some people prefer to talk to a human first. So then choose option 1 or 2. From there, both will offer you what I will put in the link 3 to register yourself. If you've been sitting on the fence and you've been like, yeah, I've always thought I might like to come into the network. And if you have an hour a week to dedicate, come and join us in the month of June. Blood sugar balancing is the biggest pillar, even more than meat stock, friends. Like I used to think meat stock and gut repair was the work that everybody needed. And sure, I think that piece needs to happen for the rest of our lives all the time. But once you start to wrap your head around blood sugar balancing, this is where you start to see so many shifts happen in the improvement of your symptoms. Or in the alleviating of your symptoms, rather. So do you want to alleviate your symptoms? Do you want affordable price where you can come in and you'll be diligent and every week on Monday nights at 7 p.m. or Saturday mornings or whatever day of the week you decide to sit in and do some of this work, Sundays at noon, wherever it's going to fit in your schedule, put it in your day timer and commit. When you commit to that hour, you're going to start to put in those pieces you'll come across. You'll notice a lot of repetition in the network, and that is by design. The more you hear something, the more you're likely to do it. And the more you hear it, the more you hear different ways it supports, the more something will click, the more it'll make it to your worksheet, the more it'll make it into your life. So you're the gatekeeper of it all. And it's a whole smorgasbord of things waiting for you. Hit me up if you have any questions in the comments below. I look forward to seeing you in the Good Food Network. Take care, everybody. Have a good June. Salut!